I don't think men don't talk. I just think men put themselves last. That night I tried to kill myself and taking as much drugs as possible. My name's Craig Brown. I'm a founder of Rage Fitness Wellbeing Group. I decided to go into the military. I needed discipline and I needed guidance. And I just like the idea of being absolutely tortured physically. Why I wanted to go to the military, I thought it was probably because it was quite fashionable. It was always kind of in me to self-sabotage, I think. I ended up working as a window cleaner. And this one it really goes fucking Pete Tong. We was in this like house party and we was in a kitchen. So as every story starts, everyone pulled knives out. So I was trying to give away my most valuable commodity to befriend people. That night I tried to kill myself and taking as much drugs as possible. I think to get anywhere successfully in life, you have to let a bit of an animal out. We make a loss as a business. We make a loss every month from delivering the projects in the Gambia. But it's the right thing to do as a human being.
Cooking on gas?
Cooking on gas.
Good stuff. So, Craig, welcome to the Profici Podcast.
Thank you very much for having me, Ant. Appreciate it.
So, I thought what we'll do, if we can start off at the beginning and then take us on your journey. So, tell us a bit about yourself, where you grew up, what was life like growing up?
So, my name's Craig Brown. I'm a founder of Rage Fitness Wellbeing Group and Calm Coffee. Originally, I came from Anfield, just by Georgeson's car garage. You know Anfield, you know what it was like, I guess, in my day. Very gang culture aspects in every area of Liverpool. There's some positive parts, there's some negative parts, wherever way you look at it. My family's economic aspect was poor. Mum and dad had probably like 9 jobs between them, little cleaning jobs. My dad still works in the museum in Liverpool now. Yeah, he's worked there for like 38 years. At the time he also shop for Age Concern, so like shopping for the elderly community within Old Swan, just to get an extra couple of quid. As you can imagine, that job didn't pay very well. I used to go around with him, buying bread and tins of beans for the elderly folk, just to get like an extra 20 quid a week for my dad. And as a man, you can understand what that type of emotion, I guess, is for a parent. So yeah, it was hard times, like most families in Liverpool, I think. Every day was a struggle, either putting 5 quid in the meter, and I wanted a chocolate bar or whatever, and you can't afford a lechi, so that was kind of my upbringing.
Got brothers and sisters?
Yeah, so I'm the middle
Nice.
child syndrome. So my sister's older and my brother's younger, and again they understand where we come from an eco money aspect, which is hard times in Liverpool. That story's not an individual story. Lots of people in Liverpool come from that type of background, working class they call it, but I think it's a little bit below that in some areas of Liverpool ultimately.
Yeah. School? What was it like? What were you like in school?
That was a nightmare.
Was you?
Yeah, like now I'm calm and I've sat still for nearly 10 minutes, but that's only because I understand the methodology to be this focused and to work hard on yourself. But my mum vocally says I was a worst child.
Really?
Because bouncing off the walls, got ADHD, dyslexia, so academic aspects in school, I struggled.
Were you diagnosed with that, or were you just known as a pain in the arse kid?
Oh, I wasn't diagnosed, and I'm still not diagnosed, but I've got enough, you'll understand, about the business aspects. I've got enough clinicians in my team who understand and can diagnose ADHD and all the rest of that. At the time, I didn't get diagnosed, didn't get any additional support in school around education. You would call them back in the day the special rooms. So you would go in there and get support either with maths, English and science. Didn't get any of that. I was a naughty child and was outside, putting 2 fingers up outside the window because they didn't want me in the classroom, because I just couldn't sit still. I couldn't focus on the work. I couldn't do the work from a education point of view. Just didn't pick it up. I was really struggling in school. And again, I'm not the only individual that kind of fell through the cracks in education. I firmly believe I didn't thrive in education because it wasn't for me. I really struggled with every aspect. The only one I really enjoyed was PE, because burnt off some energy and I got moving ultimately.
So what did you do? How old were you when you left school?
15, 16.
Was it?
Yeah.
And then what?
So then, this is where it all goes a bit mental. So like everybody, they try and go to college, or they try and go to do some sort of apprenticeship or something like that. And again, I just couldn't focus. I couldn't do anything. So I think I did a plumbing apprenticeship for like 2 months. Hit myself in the face with a sledgehammer. Face come out like this. And I was like, yeah, this is not for me. I couldn't put a drill bit in a drill. So I thought, what am I doing here? Like, just couldn't do any of it. And I decided to go into the military. I thought, I'll have a go at that. Physical activity, a bit of discipline, I guess running away in certain aspects from the culture of Liverpool in a certain way.
Do you find that a lot in the military? That's what a lot of people there are, running away from something.
I can't speak for everybody. I think from my point, I needed discipline and I needed guidance. And I just like the idea of being absolutely tortured physically.
Yes.
So like, now I know that. Asking the 16-year-old me why I wanted to go to the military, I thought it was probably because it was quite fashionable. Like, oh, it's a bit sexy. Look at me. But now I understand the 34-year-old that I was, nearly 20 years older. It's because the physical activity helped my mind, I guess, focus ultimately. It didn't last, ultimately. I've got a skin condition called psoriasis, so I got medically let go from the military ultimately. It was always kind of in me to self-sabotage, I think. Even to this day, if I don't follow my methodology around physical exercise, mindfulness, all the rest of it, I'm quite self-destructive and I'm quite addictive personality. So then I left that and I ended up working as a window cleaner. And this one, it really goes fucking P-tongue. It's bad now. So then I started working as a window cleaner and we walk for miles with obviously your buckets and your ladders and all that. And I'd walk from Highton to Anfield with ladders and buckets, and that was one of the window rounds. That was one day, yeah. It's a proper mish. But during the process and during the time I was working on the windows, the people who were working on the windows, they weren't the right environment to be around. I was like, 18, 19 at this point. And they were drinking cans of Carling as soon as we started on the windows. There's like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Wasn't a big drinker. I looked after myself quite a lot. But you need the money. The sad part is you earn £25 a week. That's how much you earned.
Really, yeah?
It's horrendous. But when you're young and you're just trying to earn money, aren't you? So £25 a week. I was drinking cans of Carling on the ladders at like 8 o'clock. Then I started smoking because, again, you're a product of your environment.
Yeah.
Ultimately. And then before you know it, they're offering you lines of cocaine on the ladders, and you're like, yeah. I was already doing it prior to that, with my mates and that. But then, like anything can become a habit.
Yeah.
Either that be success, either that be supporting people, either that taking lines of cocaine, drinking alcohol, dopamine hit, like we discussed before. It gets inside you quite quickly, and it takes over your life. And I was working on the windows for like 2 or 3 years, 2.5 years, and pretty much every day, that's what I was doing. 7, 8 a.m. starts, having a can of Carling. Half an hour later, having a line. And I was 18, I reckon.
That's 25 quid, that's a stretch then, didn't it?
Then you get in trouble. So you can see how that then processes into a different way.
Yeah.
Then what that looks like and what it kind of turned out to be is that the fellow who owned the window round, I owed him money then. So I was working as a window cleaner, getting off my barn and not earning anything.
So you're just paying for the habit.
To paying for the habit. And it's, do you remember the opera singer Paul Potts?
Oh, yeah.
I bought him because I was so like in my own depths. And now I know I wasn't in a good space. And now I can reflect on it and it makes me smile. But it didn't make me smile at the time. I bought him my sister's iPod Shuffle and it was pink. Bright pink. And she had really shit songs on it. like Spice Girls and all. I like Spice Girls, but like back in the day, I was like, got a list of Spice Girls. But it was Paul Potts on and Susan Boyle, because it was like the era of like Britain's Got Talent and all the rest of it. And any time I hear them songs now, it takes me back being on the Windows, but in a positive way, because I'm not in that space anymore. But yeah, like financially, it catches up. So you're working on a window in freezing cold weather in December in Old Swan,
Just to pay for your habit.
just to pay for your habit, which is a horrendous situation to be in.
So how old were you when you finished then, or how did you even get out of that if you owed the guy money?
I think, if memory serves me right, I was about 22 at this point, 23. And I thought, what am I actually doing here? There's loads of things that kind of accumulated to that point in my life. Every single day, every single week he's becoming worse as an employer, if you call them that, ultimately. Say, for example, I didn't have any beef or coke or whatever. He wouldn't pay me on time. And then he'd be like, I'll get the money to you the next day, but I've got a phone bill. I need food. Like, I need money to get myself going somewhere. So I thought, I'm not going to work for him anymore. He's a negative person to be around.
Was he providing the coke?
Yeah.
So he was selling it to the lads on the rounds?
Yeah. Because then someone in Highton was giving it to him to like go into areas and sell it.
Right.
It's called county lines now. Basically going to another area to sell drugs, using young people to easily manipulate young person to get onto it. And then you've got something over them then, financial situation. So then I decided to not work. I just didn't work. Didn't earn any money. Obviously do the whole thing, going to Connections, if you remember Connections back in the day, going to them offices and like, what do you want to work as? I said, yeah, to a postman. And the woman went to me, do you understand how hard postman is? How hard it is to do the job? I was like, no. She went, you got an E in English and you got like whatever it was in maths. She said, you have to read a lot and organise. And I think I said, oh no, that sounds shit. I don't want to do that. Because again, the attention span. So yeah, I stopped working for him. Went to Connections, tried to improve my CV like you do, and you have to be in this system ultimately. And didn't work at all. Didn't earn any money.
How long were you out of work for?
Good 2.5 years, 3 years.
Really?
And I have now. I think I've got a good relationship with my mum and dad now, and they're fantastic people. I'll never disrespect my mum and dad, on camera or off camera. They had their own mental health challenges. They had their own addiction issues. But as a parent and a guardian, they did that. They did their best, in my opinion. And I can see that now, 10 years later, 15 years later. But at the time, you're growing up, 17 to 25, you know what's best. Don't need to ask them or need them or whatever. So then you get yourselves in situations which is not positive. I was still taking drugs in certain cliques, doing cash in hand jobs here and there. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm getting a job next week, give you 500 quid or 200 quid here and there. Because when you stop working as a window cleaner on having a line on the ladders, that doesn't go away overnight.
Yeah.
The requirement and the need and the addiction aspect's still there, ultimately.
Did it get worse then? Yeah.
Everything gets worse before it gets better, doesn't it?
What happened?
So I think obviously there's relationships in between this, so there's like girlfriends and such. And then when I broke up with this girl, I think it was like 2013, 2014, 2015, something like that. Can't remember specifics. Like you do when you become single, just go on mad benders. Well, I did. I don't know about anybody else that's listening, but I went on a bit of a mad one. I'm single, I can do what I want, go and find birds. And then subsequently, I was spending more than I earned because I was doing like labouring jobs and stuff like that. And like I mentioned, I didn't last much longer than 3 months as a plumber. So like I wasn't good as a labourer.
Yeah.
I was just getting by, ultimately. And I ended up being homeless for like 5 or 6 months, couch hopping, trying to blag myself in hotels, wash it in hotels and dry my stuff in saunas. Like it was, but I believe I had to get to that point. Because
what was your support network like at the time? Like friends, did you have any, or had everyone just sort of gone?
I've still got friends now that I had then.
Right.
And my circle of friendship is small.
Mm.
I don't need loads of mates in my house. Charlotte says go out and have a drink. I don't need to have had a drink. And back then, still got my same mates. Support network. I think I don't know if you've ever had an addiction or you've ever drank too much for too long and then you think it's a reward process.
Mm.
It's not a reward process. It's filling a chemical imbalancement in your brain.
Yeah.
And if you've got addiction personality, you need it. So I didn't need anyone. Pushed everyone away. Ultimately. My mum knows now and my dad know now about my drug addiction, but they don't know the full extent of it. And I've spoke about this in many forums. And I still don't think it absorbs into their brain the depths that I was in. And a lot of people's opinions about it. So self-sabotaging, I don't need anyone's help. I'm fine. You see someone you haven't seen, I'm all right, yeah, I'm good.
What was your lowest point? Can you actually picture a day or you just thought?
So he's in a house party in Highton. And there was, I was classed as a swanhead. Old swan. And I was in Highton. And we was in this like house party. And we was in a kitchen. So as every story starts. I'm not sure if I'm selling this to the right target audience. No, I don't know. And obviously they got onto where I was coming from. And everyone pulled knives out. And then my bargaining chip to be like cool and like get on board with them all. It's like, I've got loads of beef here. Yeah, do you want some? So I was trying to give away my most valuable commodity to befriend people, ultimately. That night I tried to kill myself on taking as much drugs as possible. Like, think of a drug I took. Every single thing. Alcohol, weed, if you want to class that as an overdose aspects, tablets, beef, etc., etc. And I didn't obviously pass away. I'm still here, trying to do good in the world ultimately.
So what did you just sort of come out of a pretty much comatose state and thought something needs to change?
Pretty much. It was like, I think I realised, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't realise I was going to do it. So I think people say, oh, you have a switch and you're going to do it and you know what you're doing. I wasn't happy in that situation in Highton. And like everyone kind of was like still there, but I was just in my own little space. And I was just consuming as much as I could. The next day I woke up and I was like, what? I didn't think I would ever do that. I didn't think I had the courage to do that. But then I woke up and I'm like, right then, I'm destined for something else, aren't I? Clearly. Because what I would have took probably would have killed 12 elephants.
Do you not have that big guilt as well then when you think I've got to pay for all that?
No, I just got off.
Did you?
Just because, like, obviously it was communal at this point and no one really keeping track of what are they.
Right.
So I was like, I felt sorry for myself. Felt vulnerable, which I don't like. I don't like that now, being vulnerable. My exterior is very, from fighting to the business to being a dad, etc. It's about being a leader, because I've felt like that before, like very, very vulnerable.
I say like a lot of entrepreneurs have that trait where you're always chasing the next thing, you know, that dopamine hit, and you know you've got the addictive personality, and that's what makes you a good business owner, really, because you're relentless.
That's exactly how I would describe it.
Yeah.
Is that I guess going from briefly what I've discussed there, there's many other occasions similar to that. Is that you've survived those aspects, so then running a business and putting positivity into the world that people like myself, male or female or anyone in between, feel isolated and lost and lonely and poor mental well-being, I've got a duty of care to like drive that forward. So when you win a deal or you do something with a partner or you meet a new business that want to get on board, that's the addictive aspect. That's like, come on, but I call it making a movement or join the movement. Anyone gets on board is joining the movement to create success in physical and mental health amongst the people who are most vulnerable.
Yeah.
Ultimately. And then everyone in between who's savvy but need a little bit of an oomph every now and again. And as a entrepreneur or business owners, that's what fires you.
So from that day where you woke up and thought, something's got to change, how old were you then?
I'd say 25, 26, something like that round.
And then what happened?
I started volunteering as a cleaner in a gym. I loved fitness. Loved everything about it. Obviously, when you're younger, you want to look aesthetically sexy. You want to feel good. Now we know from a mental well-being model, it's much more than that, ultimately. So started volunteering as a cleaner, cleaning toilets for no money. Cleaning like poolside, saunas, changing rooms, no money. From that point, I went on a 0-hour contract. Still doing the same job. 16-hour contract. Then got put on my level 2 health and fitness qualification. Then level 3 personal training qualification. Became head PT in the gym. Then became like a lower level leisure club manager. This is all in the space of 6 months. So then when I started seeing success in whatever you call that space, I thought, you know what, I'm good here.
That becomes addictive as well.
That becomes addictive. I left that relationship with somebody that was in that environment. And I started from the bottom again. So I started working as an shelf stacker in Tesco. Hated every second of it.
Yeah.
Again, it's me, I like doing different things. If you walk in any Tesco or any Morrison's or any Asda, it's the most monotonous thing you can see.
What a facing up, something.
The other facing up. Let's do a rumble.
I used to work in B&Q.
Oh, did you? So then you can kind of get that understanding. And then, because I'm good at sales, I'm good at speaking to people, I went from the shop floor, as they call it, and went and worked in the phone shop, Tesco Mobile, selling mobile phones and insurance. I think within the space of, again, roughly 5 to 6 months, I went from being what they call a general assistant in the phone shop industry to team leader, which pissed a lot of people off because they'd been there for 2 or 3 years, and I'm like, just steamrolling them. That was not my intention. I was just passionate about helping people get that product that they need. Plus, we wasn't on commission, so I wasn't earning any extra doing the work I was doing. And within 3 months after that, I was the phone shop manager in that store.
Are you still drinking and taking drugs at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've only been clean. I have a shandy every now and again. I go to Spain or whatever. But I've been clean from any drug since January 21.
So not that long then, really, is it?
No. Not at all.
You ever tempted?
I used to be.
Not no more.
But then I know what my temptations are. And I know what my people, I don't like this word, but what my triggers are. So I just kind of keep them at arm's length, ultimately. But yeah, not that long at all being away from drugs, I guess.
I suppose as well, you know, you speak to a lot of people who say it's the alcohol side of it, isn't it? It's a lot harder to stay away from drugs if you're drinking. So
Definitely.
it sort of goes hand in hand now with
Yeah.
a lot of people.
And again, there's a point where I wasn't even drinking. They call it dry lining.
Yeah.
But like now I don't even drink because I used to, maybe the first in January 21, that year, 21, I'd have a few social drinks and like the urge was there, like really bad. So then I just stopped drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you poison yourself anyway. So
Did you have to do any sort of therapy for that, or did you just go, bump, that's me
no,
done?
just stop myself. Because again, a proud man, I don't need any help.
Yeah.
I'm in control. I know what I'm doing. So I didn't access any primary or secondary care like GP services, community groups, any rehab programs, nothing like that. And rehab's a strong word because people are like, it wasn't in rehab. No, it wasn't. But I went through a rehabilitation process on myself to come off many aspects of drugs.
What sparked it for you? What was the trigger point where you just said, that's me done?
I think a few things, but my missus Charlotte.
Tell me about that.
I think, so I met her in 2016, 2017 in Tesco. I don't know, like, she's got a boss personality. She's got a boss humour. She's inspirational in her own way. She's amazing. And like every relationship, it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Mm-hmm.
I put her through some challenging experiences through drug addiction. And she got very vulnerable and she got very weak at times, mentally. So I thought, look what I'm doing to her. And then I was strong enough to go, I'm going to choose Charlotte over drugs, ultimately.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. And I say this every now and again, and I don't like saying it in front of her, but she's not here. She's my saviour.
Yeah.
Because she is. I think everyone likes to think, I'm good enough on my own, or I did this by myself. I don't think you do anything by yourself. Me and Charlotte are a team, we're a family. That extends to our business family. So she supported me when I didn't let anybody else in. And because of that, we've done amazing things since.
So, obviously we've gone from where you were.
Mm-hmm.
You've met, as you say, your saviour. And that's where everything turns around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So talk me through that journey.
So obviously Charlotte's got her own story about her own challenges from a mental well-being point of view. I saved her, she saved me. As cliche as it sounds, and it sounds dead dramatic, doesn't it? It's like some sort of Hollywood movie or something. And I decided to leave a job that was very high sales pressure, sort of massive wage. But the culture was putting me down a hole that I didn't want to go down again. And she said, why don't you just leave and start your own company? Like, I got me bills. Can't afford things. She was like, I'll pay for you. So I'm always going to be debtor to her.
Yeah.
She paid for me food. She paid for me mobile phone bill. She let me stay in a house when at the time I wasn't in the house or I didn't have anywhere to live. She didn't know that until later on. Just needed a place to lie down, didn't I? But she paid, it wasn't a huge amount of money, like 400 quid a month. But she fed me. She paid for me for everything that I needed. Because she believed in me before I believed in myself. So I decided to set up a company to support people's physical and mental emotional health. I call it Rage Fitness Wellbeing Group. She hates the name. She didn't think it would ever work.
Where did the name come from? Is that your inner demons, was it all?
I think so. I think that's where it comes from. I can't sit here and be like dead profound and go, this is what I thought it was. But I think how it's happened over the years is that I think to get anywhere successfully in life, you have to let a bit of an animal out. Because people want stuff all the time for free. And success doesn't just land on your doorstep, ultimately. So then we set up Rage Fitness Wellbeing Group. Objective, just run one fitness class a week. And we did run one fitness class a week. For 4 to 5 months, 3 people came. Sometimes one person came. We charged £3 per class. So on a good day, we earned 9 quid. On a bad day, we earned 3 quid. The room we hired cost 7 quid. So it was.
I'm guessing you didn't have an accountant at this point.
No. I got like an E in maths, but I think I can work that one out. So then And again, Charlotte was me a little bit of a positive motivation in my shoulder. She was like, this will work. Like, I believe in you. Keep going. And those days, like, I'm not going to go to the class because you didn't have a booking system and all like that. Just turned up at a community hall. Whoever showed up, and we did a fitness class in the big hall, basically. So just go because you don't know who's going to turn up. It's like, all right. Like my mum telling me what to do. And then I did put my head down because I thought, if I want to financially repay Charlotte or repay it in the way that she had belief in me, I need to make an effort. So then I put on more variety of classes. You put more availability, more people come. So then we was having like on average 20, 25 people coming after month 5 coming to the classes. But it wasn't just do a burpee, do a press up, use a skip and rope. It was the fitness class and then the therapeutic conversation afterwards. So it was like, how are you? Like anything in the gym or whatever. How are you? How you doing? Anything that you struggle with? Anything that we help with? Building that community aspect to it from the ground, from the foundations up. As in when you speak to thousands of people, you get good at it. At improving the individual psychology, whatever the situation is. So we did that for another couple of months. More and more people came, needed more equipment. Didn't have any money for equipment really. So then we bought a skip and rope off Amazon for like $2.99. Felt like millionaires. And then we borrowed some dumbbells from Total Fitness. Still got them.
Mm.
Nice one.
Borrowed.
Yeah. Never get rid of them. And then probably year 1, we had probably 150 people coming to classes every week. And increased the price point from £3 to £3.50. Millionaire. And then one day I woke up, because how I help people is that, let's say, for example, you start at a 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
Objectively, in a couple of days or even a week or 2, mentally and emotionally, you'd be a 9. So I've drastically improved your psychology, whatever the situation is. Woke up to a text one day from somebody who I really helped, spent a lot of time and energy on. She said, I feel confident enough to go to a gym now. It's like, oh, boss, yeah, it's good. So I won't be able to afford your classes. It's like, cheeky bitch. Put months of work into you. And that's maybe an ego thing, like, how dare you leave me? But that's kind of been in check for a while now. But even a year ago, I'm a different person, never mind 4 years ago. I woke up and I said to Charlotte, I'm going to build a gym. At this point, we didn't have any revenue to buy a treadmill. One of my treadmills in the gym is $7,000, so I understand where her logic thinking was coming from. She said, how are you going to build a gym? We haven't got any money to build on. I said, I'll find it. I'll make it happen. Because I'm not losing one more person to go to a competitor.
All right.
When we've helped people. Because then that community is going over there. So then I built a gym. By putting more classes on, collaborating with Sport England, collaborating with the NHS, collaborating with central government, local authority, sold them the vision. So then in September 2018, or October 2019, we opened the Rage Fitness Wellbeing Centre.
Which is in Chester.
Chester.
Why Chester?
Follow there. Me missus lived in Chester. I joke around, I needed a place to sleep. So I went over there and slept in hers. And that's what she says to me, actually. But if you've ever been to Chester, it's not a concrete city.
Mm.
It's absolutely stunning. It's got greenery. There's birds.
Mm-hmm.
It's just everywhere's clean. My mates call me Wolves now. You're a wool. I'm like, I don't care. It's a lovely space where I live.
Yeah.
But that's why I moved there, because that's where she lives now. We've got our own house together. But yeah, the Wellbeing Centre is based in Chester.
Tell me about Gambia.
So, again, in 2016, 2017, you can imagine my brain was still in a very addictive personality, still taking a lot of drugs, drinking, etc. Feeling sorry for yourself sometimes. Only known her for like 3 months, Charlotte. She said to me, "Do you want to come to Gambia?" I'm like, "What? Who goes to Gambia?" She said, "Do you want to come to Gambia?" It's like, "What are you doing in Gambia?" She was like, "I'm volunteering." "Doing what?" "Oh, we're raising money for football pitches, raising money for football equipment, shinnies, football boots, etc." I didn't know anything about Gambia at all. And for those that don't know, Gambia is in the top 1% of the poorest countries in the world. Extreme poverty everywhere you look. That's from healthcare, education, hygiene, etc. So I was like, "Yeah, I'll come." Put the flights on a Capital One credit card. That's on like 55% APR or something. Paid that off for several years as well. Again, this is the way my brain was.
Yeah.
But it was the best decision I've ever did. And this is the part of my recovery, improvement, vision, ambition, whatever you call it. So when in, I think it's January 2017, and there's not much I can say or describe that would really make you understand the poverty aspects, but then also the culture aspects. And I literally fell in love with the place, because I think it put a lot into perspective for me. I'm here in a country that's affluent. There's lots of things around me that can support me, but I'm still complaining about life. I've got it great here. I've got a real positive country to live in. People like to bitch and complain about everything.
Yeah.
But I went there and I fell in love with it. Spoke to Jenny, who runs the space there. It's called the Gunja Project. It's an amazing organisation. And I said to them, "What you do within health and well-being, or what you do with mental health and all the rest." I said, bear in mind, I'm not in no fit state to speak about mental health. I'm not. So I don't know why this started coming out of my mouth. It was like, "What you do for physical activity?" Because at this point, I was really into it. So much so, I delivered, when I was there in 2017, I delivered aqua aerobics to all the people that were staying there. It was boss. It's the best memory I've ever had. I said, "We don't really do much. We have a little yoga space here and we do this here." And then I put in my brain, Rage Fitness, I don't think was really established or even thought processed. I thought, what if we come back every year and we do like physical activity and support people's mental well-being and all the rest of it? It's like, yeah, that'd be boss. Charlotte didn't go back till 2019, I don't think. So it's 2 years of chatting all the shit, ultimately. And in 21, 22, we discussed about building. So what we've got in the UK is a quite a large wellbeing centre that does lots of different services. About shrinking that down and building one in the Gambia. And we opened that up in January 24. It's had about 600 people through the doors. Objective, improve physical and mental health, as well as prevention of early deaths of diabetes and hypertension. These are in babies 1 week old, and then they're in adults who get to about 55. So where we think, oh, you've got a problem with your leg, or you've got a problem with your diabetes, or you've got a problem with your blood pressure, it's very, 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 very curable or fixable or improved. People die. Children die just because they haven't got the education. They haven't got the support. And me being a dad now, and you see these conversations and you see these situations, it absolutely breaks you as a human. So then when I found this out, we've got roughly 5 or 6 wellbeing programs running at the minute in the Gambia. I've got my own Gambian team there. They're delivering diabetes, health and wellbeing screening days. So people from the community come to the centre, get blood sample checks, blood pressure checks, and then if need be, then they can get referred to the health clinic which is a bit more of an established health space.
Yeah.
Then we run women wellbeing programs that support the elders of the community, education around diabetes, mental health, physical activity, disability, and premenopausal aspects. Then there's physical fitness sessions for children to build strong, healthy habits, which prevents hypertension, which prevents diabetes, which prevents premature deaths. And then we've got children that go back into these compounds and villages and communities and say, I'm learning X, Y, and Z in the centre. So then they're being an education tool in these compounds. And that's been going since, as I say, January 24. And we've saved people's lives already.
Mm-hmm. So what would be your goal for that, if possible?
From the wellbeing centre aspect, you'll learn this about me. I'm very ambitious. I think that at a point, I was like, I'll put a wellbeing centre in every single country in Africa that need it, because I know the impact that I can have.
Mm-hmm. Just
in 4 to 5 months, I could speak for hours about the impact, logistically and financially. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Currently, no. We make a loss as a business. We make a loss every month from delivering the projects in the Gambia. But it's the right thing to do as a human being.
Yeah.
I mentioned the app earlier on, offline. The app is currently operating in schools in the Gambia. And there's loads of content in that around physical activity, mental health, education around diabetes, blah, blah, blah. So yes, the physical location is where people come and get the support, but the education is being shared digitally already. So part of it is the app to be in as many community school settings as possible. So I'm trying to work in partnership with organisations that have refurbished tablets. Say, give me 10 tablets. This is the impact it will have. I've got case studies that can prove that.
Mm.
So then I'm trying to work with organisations who care like I care and say, yeah, we've got 15 tablets sitting in an office somewhere. We download our app onto it. Then my team in the Gambia go out, do outreach work with the schools, educate how to use it, how to demonstrate it, how to support those communities. And then that knowledge is shared and we're saving lives.
Talk to me a little bit more about the app.
So the app has been in development since January 21. Everything that I do physically, or my team do physically, to improve people's physical and mental health, all of our knowledge, working with thousands of people, we've created content to build a health and wellbeing app. So there's fitness, meditation, education, all built into the app. The app is powered by AI, so you get 11 questions to answer, all health questions, physical and mental. Then the AI algorithm, based on our methodology, prescribes you specific content to watch. Let's say hypothetically a 13% out of 100, physically, mentally, emotionally. Objective in a week is to get you from 13 to 23. 10% is a big difference.
Yeah.
That's the methodology of it. On the background of it, so we're working with the NHS and a few other partnerships, is that from the app for businesses or the app for the NHS is to improve the staff's health and well-being. So if your team's average score is 23%, your business is operating at 23%. So then if you can improve your business operations, sales, sickness, absence, sustainability, X, Y, and Z by 20%, your business is better by 20%. Because unless you're solely in tech and you don't have a human being working for you, your business is people. You've got guys working outside on a laptop. Are they all at 100%?
Very much doubt it.
Most organisations aren't, are they? Because you've got your own issues, either that be catastrophic issues or financial issues or relationship issues. We've all got issues. And my app's not about resolving them. because you can't resolve everyone's issues. It's about improving the human being to be at their optimum, physically and mentally. So you know a fraction of my story from where I've come from to where I am. And we've only, again, scratched the surface of the companies that I have. I've done that by my methodology. And I'm sitting in front of you today looking maybe an 8 out of 10 visually. My mental state is a 10 out of 10.
Right.
Because I follow the methodology. The app is putting what we know, tried and tested with thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, in the hands of businesses. So it reduces sickness, improves productivity, improves well-being, improves sustainable growth, etc., etc. So that's the business side to it. Then health, we're working, as I say, with the NHS, Public Health England and Wales and everybody else, is that for people who work within care to give the best patient care, they need to be at the best. And we know this because it's not just pretend that we know it. We ran an NHS wellbeing programme from 2020 to 23, and we support about 4,000 members of the NHS workforce. Every single thing that we did, we learned from it. Every single human being that we did, we learned from it. And then created content thereafter. Put an algorithm behind it, put AI behind it, onboarding processes, and then support from my team.
So I've got almost 2 questions. One is, have you ever had any financial support in this journey and building the app? And the second one, if someone out there who's watching shares a similar passion to you and wants to support, how could they?
Financial support, no. So everything that I've done up until this point, yes, we work in partnership with NHS, which means we get commissions, but that's delivering a specific program for patients to get support physically. So we do get given revenue or money from organisations, but that's for a specific project. The app development, content creation, designing everything, we've self-funded through gym memberships. It's not a lot of revenue left over from that.
It's expensive in a content creation.
Yeah.
What you pay for?
But without that content creation, we wouldn't have an app.
Yeah.
Without the app development company, we wouldn't have had an app. And I firmly believe human connection is better. If I sat with you for a week, your business would be better in a week. Just from a psychology point of view. I don't know anything about investing and all the rest of that, but you as a human would improve. So then, yeah, no investment from the app. Just all self-funded, which has been a challenging 2 years financially. But I call them good problems.
Yeah.
If people are passionate and want to help the world, ultimately, it's not just a UK-based product. It's not just an American product. It's an international product that we're trying to develop. They can contact us on any social media platform, Rage Fitness Company. Contact me directly through social media or email addresses, which I can provide all of those to you. Because I want passionate people who can actually make a difference in the world rather than just saying it. Yes, we're all in it for a quick win. Yes, we're all in it to make revenue, and the app will make revenue for us, but the objective is to improve people's lives and make a difference.
Why do you still think, in your words, it's still more difficult for men to reach out for help as opposed to women?
I think from my own experience, and again, the thousands of people or hundreds of thousands of men that I've supported, I think they don't know what they need support with. So if they don't know themselves, because as a man, you're a protector, you're a fighter, you should resolve problems rather than creating problems. That's the biggest thing, or the biggest hurdle to get over for a man. They won't put themselves first, they put the kids first. They won't, if it's not the kids, it's the missus. If it's not the missus, it's the business. If it's not the business, it's the job. If it's not the job, it'll be them eventually. But if you think how many hurdles to get to that point, yeah, I'm fine, I'm sound. Don't worry about me. Gotta go to work, gotta get up in the morning, come back and do the kids' breakfast or whatever, or tea, should I say. Breakfast, night time.
This must be on nights.
Night shift. But I think I don't think men don't talk. I just think men put themselves last, because you hear all the time, men need to talk more, men need to do this. Men don't need to do anything. A man does what he wants to do. It's just having the confidence to go, I need to put myself first. Because if I don't put myself first, either the family unit or the work unit or the business unit will suffer. And it comes back to that word. If the man's not at his optimum, his environment isn't. And I'm a firm believer in that. So I think, as I say, you see lots on social media, men don't talk. I just think they need to have faith that they need to put themselves first a little bit more. And I think that's what we do very well within our community.
I think it's just not a natural thing.
No.
No.
How long it took me? And I'm sure let's say there's 10 people that are in the office today. 50% of them are male. 50% of them, or 100% of them, won't put themselves first. Because they're trying to improve the business, help you, inspire you, develop for your clients, outside of work, in the home, being a protector, or they're trying to support emotionally the missus. That's if they've got a family aspect. And if they are on their own, they just don't know where to turn to.
Yeah.
Yes, you see these websites getting built for mental health, but there's no trust behind that website. So I see, and I'm privileged to be in certain rooms around mental health strategies. And I think it's bullshit. We're going to do X, Y, and Z to support men's mental health. Are you getting to the grassroots of men's mental health? Are you going out and speaking to people on the street? No. That person's not going to go to this website they've never heard of. So it's about, from my aspect, this is again a company conversation. I've worked hard to support men's, women's, children's mental health, to build a trusted brand so then men do feel comfortable enough to reach out.
Yeah.
And they know where to turn to, because we've got thousands of men's success stories. Where I've come from, where I am now, what I'm doing.
Tell me all about Calm Coffee.
So Calm Coffee exists because I did something stupid. So I decided to do quite a crazy male suicide awareness campaign. And what that looked like was cycling thousands of kilometres to raise the profile of 84 men take their own lives every week. So I called it Mission 84. During the process of Mission 84, I did loads of stupid training exercises. So one of them, which you may have seen a picture of, is that I climbed up Snowdon, the hottest day of the year, wearing a sauna suit and a gas mask. As I say, I like training myself to get myself right. And there's a boss picture of me up the mountain, all caked in, looking disgusting, walking up the mountain, look boss. During that time, people will stop and it's like, what's he doing that for, the lunatic? Well, he's raising awareness of male suicide. So a lot of people like jumped on the bandwagon of it, like, wow, he's mad him. And I am a bit mad. But after that post went out, we got like something over the month, like 8.4 million engagement. It was absolutely mental because everyone was tagging Mission 84. It was boss, did the job. Let's say a month after, still do Mission 84, still doing the cycling, still doing the training exercises. People were coming into the wellbeing centre in crisis, men and women, like extreme vulnerable people. And I didn't have anywhere for them to sit. You just be crying on the gym floor, like it's not a great space, and vulnerability aspect of it. So I decided there's a space up in the gym aspect. It was just a dumping ground. There's a proper shithole. There was even a dead rat in it at one point. It was. I took a picture of it. And I ripped it all out. And I decided to build a space where people come sit down, have a brew, dead chill, no official aspect, non-clinical, no counsellors, just speak to people who care. And I called it Calm Coffee. And I've drawn the logo myself. It was a real bad example when I first drawn it, but now it's been professionally enhanced. looks much better. And Calm Coffee was born out of Mission 84. Every week we run roughly 11 different services around conversational, therapeutic, mental wellbeing support, from craft group, which we have elderly people coming in to reduce isolation, because isolation significantly impacts the elderly community. People think they're okay. They're not. They're vulnerable. So we do that. we do wellbeing coloring, so it's very low level therapeutic stuff. And other bits, yoga, mindfulness, meditation. And now I've got 2 sites of that, so 2 mental health coffee shops, both in Chester, one in the gym and one in the city centre of Chester. Since July 21, it's supported about 12,000 people through its doors.
Wow.
Which is boss. These people wouldn't have accessed, and he said, they wouldn't have accessed any clinical setting. They've come because it feels safe. They've come because it's chill. They come because they can access yoga and also have a knit and natter with the mates. So that's one of my other companies, Calm Coffee, that we've developed to give people access to mental health support.
I have to pop over and see.
Make a belter brew as well, you know.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
I was actually thinking that then. I thought, I wonder how good the coffee is.
Yeah, we've got the coffee machine's belter. Like the one in the city centre is like the flagship store, so it looks really spectacular. I still don't know how to make a coffee on it, so I'll get someone else to make a coffee for you. But it's brilliant what we've done just with that other company. It's boss.
You got a son, right?
Oh yeah.
How old is he?
3.
Did having him change you?
Completely.
What's the name?
Prior to Billy, we lost 3 babies, all different stages. One was really late on, and the missus had to go in for surgery. And I thought, wow, this is fucking horrendous, like disgusting. And my go-to emotion is aggression. I'm not an aggressive person, but like if I get upset, it's like, what the and I don't mean to be like that, just the way I'm built. We all have flaws, I guess. And I was getting angrier and angrier, going to these private scans, not being successful with the baby. And the only thing I could do is reflect and go, what am I doing that could hinder the situation? I'm still taking drugs. Not as regular, but probably once a month. And then when you, as you say, when you drink, you take loads of alcohol. And I was smoking ciggies and doing all those things that a human being wasn't built to do. So it was a hard reflective process. And I thought, biologically, there's no definitive answer that I was the cause of losing the babies prior Billy. And we had the conversation, me and the missus, and said, shall we try again? Because as you can imagine, the emotional aspects that happens when you lose not 1, but 3 miscarriages. And people think it's just a miscarriage. No, it's not. It's much more than that. I guess when you put everything into it. So I decided to stop drinking, don't take any drugs, kill me. It's like constantly itching for it. I needed it. I get dopamine hit, process regulation of emotion. And then we got pregnant again, but we'd been in this situation before. And because my missus has suffered with anxiety in the past, we booked regular private scans. Cost me a fucking fortune. 60 quid every 2 weeks. I'm like, Jesus. And then when you go into those appointments, you get really anxious because there's a big screen when they rub the thing over the tummy. So the doctor can see it, and obviously we can see it. I still don't know what I'm looking for. So I'm waiting for this doctor to say if it's good or bad. And everyone that we went to was like, oh yeah, he's strong, this kid. He's doing all right, you know, he's moving. Even when he was like baby, he was really moving a lot. And then we got to 20 weeks, which is quite a significant part, isn't it? And it was COVID, so I couldn't go into the room. Don't get me wrong, 3 weeks before we've already been to an appointment, so it was all right. And I've got a screenshot of the picture on my phone of when I was FaceTime, because it's only FaceTime. And this is where they do heart measurements and other aspects.
Yeah.
He said, he's perfect. He's flying. He's sad. It's like, I just like started believing. It's like, he's going to be all right, you know. And then he came 4 weeks early. I struggled the first 4 or 5 months with postnatal depression because I think when you have a mental health condition, or you've had a mental health condition, it can easily get back into your system because you're vulnerable to it. And what postnatal depression looked like to me wasn't crying my eyes out. feeling sorry for myself. I should love this baby, because I didn't. It's like, get that fucking child away from me. It's bothering me. I'm trying to do emails here. I'll do anything not to be with him. And I hate myself for that at the minute. Well, I hate myself for that situation that I was in. And again, the saviour comes along, doesn't she? And she goes, I think you need to fucking speak to someone, because you're not helping the situation. So somebody who works for me in collaboration, he's a family therapist and psychiatrist. Again, this is very exposed to me.
Yeah.
So much so, my appointment, I got in the car and drove around the block, because I didn't want to speak in front of Charlotte. I didn't want to feel vulnerable to people. This is a good, 4 or 5 years in my development of mental health and my journey. And we spoke about lots of different things. But it's about emotional connection, from where I've come from, family aspects, relationships. I find it, I don't build emotional connection with somebody. So if you started crying, I'll be like, pull your finger out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's your problem? Let's fix the problem. That's why I'm good at my role, building a company to improve mental health. Very direct. Don't get me wrong, I've brought people in who are a bit more sympathetic than me, because that doesn't work for everyone.
Mm.
And he said to me, you might never build an emotional connection with Billy. I've seen this thousands of times, and I'd say 99.9% of people don't build emotional connection. Bear in mind, he's 5 months old now. It should have happened by now. And you've got this condition, I guess. I learned a lot from it. And then we was in Cyprus, having a pizza hut in this little private villa. And Billy was sitting next to me. And it all just kind of kicked in. Getting goosebumps now. And I was like, what's all this emotion?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I didn't cry, but I was like dead, like elated, and like, again, getting goosebumps now. It was so powerful. And then from that day, everything I do is geared towards Billy.
It was interesting when I asked you the original question. Your whole demeanour just changed.
Did it? He's my biggest blessing.
How do you find then the balance between the amount of work you've got on and dedicating enough time?
Well,
Challenging.
only up until 6 weeks ago, I was working Monday to Saturday, roughly. You're never really away from a technological device, so you've always got your emails, Instagram, whatever. Yeah. And I decided, we went to a haven in Preston. Classic. And I decided, if the first time in a very, very long time, I won't take my laptop and I won't take my work phone, just take my iPhone. And I said, even when my iPhone's there, I won't be on social media and all the rest of it. I'm just going to try and be purely with Billy. This has been an accumulation of a long process, realising how bloody amazing children are and like how important they are, ultimately. So I decided not to take my work home. I'd run along the beach with him. And normally I'll be on my phone or doing something. And I was running backwards and he was running forwards to me, and he looked up at me. And as he looked up at me, I looked at him. And the elation of like the energy that we created together, just looking, I was like, again, it was a new level unlocked. That's the only way I can describe it. It was just this new feeling I've had. I was like, what's going on with me lately? What this emotion? And I thought, that's it. He's my priority. I work my ass off. 365 days, years times 6 years. And I still love the grind, and I still love the chase, and I still love supporting people. But I think my biggest task and my biggest job and my biggest responsibility is Billy. Selfishly, because I love being around him.
Yeah.
So Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturday, Sunday, don't WhatsApp me. You won't get a reply, you won't get an email, you won't get a meeting. But that's tough. He's 3.
Fair play. Mate, it's been inspirational, I must say. If anyone does want to reach out to help, to support, we'll put all of the links in
Yeah.
and everything across. But thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, mate.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.